Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Pressing Positivity. Before I get started here today, I want to issue a trigger warning. I will be covering some topics including eating disorders and problematic posting and that kind of thing. So if you're triggered by those sort of topics, then you might want to skip this episode. This trigger warning should kind of be covered by the title of this cast, but if it's not, I'm just letting you know now that I will be discussing those things, and if you guys have anything to say, you could hit me up on my social media, which will be in the description box, Twitter or Instagram, or you can comment depending on what platform you're listening on. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing or following me depending on what platform you are listening on, I would really appreciate that. And just sort of as a further warning, I'm pretty passionate about the topics that I'll be getting into today. I'm really triggered by these things, so I'll probably be a bit less chill than I typically am. So just, we have that all out of the way now, and you're aware of what's going on. Let's get into it. So basically, I'll be talking about influencers today, because I feel like that is a type of media that people are consuming that is problematic nowadays. It used to be, like runway models or advertisement models and that kind of thing, but we've come a long way. We've come a long way in that we're using all body types, so we're not really using just a singular body type in, kind of standardized ad models now. So as we've corrected that one problem, another problem arises in the world of body shaming and body positivity, and that is, the social media models or influencers or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of media out there. There's a lot of content creators who have covered this, showing kind of like the Instagram versus reality. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to it. There's more actually than just one sub dedicated to it. And it's a problem. It's a real problem, but that's not what inspired me to cover this topic on my podcast. This bothers me. It bothers me that people who have a large following or a really wide reach or large audience are editing their photos to the point that their body is no longer their body. It's completely different, or they're using filters or angles, etc., to make themselves look a lot skinnier than they are, or having a more desirable body type, and the air quotes are heavily implied there, because it's not necessarily a healthy body type or not necessarily a positive body type, and it's not actually their body, and that's my main problem with that. And if you can hear jingle bells in the background right now, I apologize for that, but my kitten is playing and he just can't stop. He can't help himself, so please forgive. But basically, these people are creating unrealistic body goals, and it's not possible for every person to have this type of body. Some people can't gain weight, some people can't lose weight, some people can't put weight on in certain places that they want to put weight on, etc. So it's just perpetuating unrealistic body goals. After we finished that with the whole runway model thing and advertisement model thing, now we've moved on to unrealistic body goals from influencers, and we consume so much more of that media than we ever consumed from like brands having their models. So this is a problem, in my opinion, and the problem isn't necessarily for adults, like grown people. It's more of a bigger issue for a younger audience who are also consuming this media, because they don't have the education to understand what is not achievable, or what they're looking at is heavily photoshopped, etc. So that is my huge issue with it, is because the target audience for a lot of this are younger, more impressionable, less educated people. And for me, in my opinion, the reason that this is so problematic is because it is influencing youth. And there are a few influencers in particular that come to mind for me when I'm thinking about this. And there's actually one influencer in particular that has inspired this podcast. So I believe I mentioned in an earlier episode that one of my guilty pleasures is social media influencers and following the drama that they create or the drama that follows them. And so I'm going to be talking about a couple of influencers in particular who have done something that I really despise and I really find hugely problematic. And the main reason that I find it problematic is because the majority of their audience are teens and preteens. I mean, honestly, there are so many influencers I could talk about right now because I find a lot of them problematic and I have pretty strong opinions about it, but there's one person I want to talk about in particular today, and I might catch some heat for this, but that's okay because everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and this is mine. So that influencer is Eugenia Cooney. And the reason that I want to talk about her is because she pops up everywhere for me. I don't search her. I've never searched her like on Google or anything, so there's no reason that the algorithm should be pumping her posts in my face, but that's what's been happening, and I find it extremely problematic for several reasons. Now, before anyone thinks that I'm going to be trash talking her, I'm really not. It's not so much about her. I know that she's a very nice person. I know that she's very sweet. I know that her fans are really diehard loyal. I understand all of this. But the problem is that her audience are mostly young people. Mostly. And that is a huge problem because she is self-harming in an extreme way. I'm not a person who is okay with body shaming, just to get that out there, but there's a difference between body shaming and genuine concern for like an extremely unhealthy lifestyle. Now, I've been aware of Eugenia for several years. She was, there was that documentary about her by Shane Dawson, and Shane Dawson is a whole other topic that I'm probably not going to get into because it's been done. But and this has been done too, but this is something that I'm really triggered by, and so I really wanted to talk about it because I got so angry. The first time that Eugenia popped up on one of my timelines was around Christmas time, and she was posing in a like Santa outfit. I was so upset by the post because she is incredibly skinny. I'm not talking about like just like she eats right and whatever. If you're on the internet, you probably are aware of who she is, so I probably don't need to get into too much detail about that. So she popped up on my timeline in a Santa outfit, and she was looking really not good. And I don't mean like she's ugly or something, because she's actually beautiful, and I know that she inside is a good person. At least from everything that we've seen, she seems like a genuinely good person. I don't like watch her streams or follow her on social media. As I said, I don't watch her videos or anything like that, but I have seen enough to say that she seems like a genuinely good person, and she needs help. Like, seriously, she needs help. And from what I know and from what I'm aware of, she has been to rehab at least one time that I know of. And she was supposed to be on the road to recovery. But I can tell you from what I've seen that she's definitely not on the road to recovery. And I have a big problem with anorexia because it kills people and it ruins lives. But I also have a problem with glorifying it. I think that that is maybe an even bigger problem because she has an audience of millions of people. And as I said before, the majority of her audience are younger people. And that is an enormous issue. It is really a huge problem, especially when people are retweeting her or following her and commenting thinspiration, because being that skinny to the point where it's obviously extremely unhealthy is not inspiration of any kind. I mean, literally, it's only inspiration to your organs shutting down. And I don't think that that should be a goal that anybody is aspiring to. So after she popped up on my timeline around Christmas, I didn't click on the post. I didn't give the algorithm any reason to think that it was something that I was interested in at all. As I said, I don't follow her. I don't really follow anybody that she's like good friends with or anything like that. So the algorithm again this week popped up another post of hers where she is wearing even less clothes and she's looking even thinner. Like, I can see literally her entire skeleton. And it is alarming. Seriously alarming. Because I'm thinking of the basically children who are following her and looking at her as if this is body goals, you know? But this is not body goals. This is like, this is what your body goals should be if your end goal is to die from your body goals. It's so upsetting. It is so upsetting to me to see this. And I know that this girl is living with her mother. And I wish that she would get help, because I'm honestly concerned that she is going to die. But she is one person. She's suffering from an illness, and by now we all know that anorexia is an illness. It's a mental illness, and she needs help. My bigger issue with this, and I think what actually is the bigger issue, is that she is an influencer, as I said, with millions of followers. Her audience is huge. Her subscribers or her followers or her fans, whatever you want to call them, are legitimately diehard. Like, if I put her name onto the title of this cast, I will get haters, and I'm okay with that, because I think that people need to seriously consider, if they're using her as the inspiration, that this could kill you. This could legitimately kill you. If you are trying to be as skinny as this influencer, you might die from that. I honestly think with how long she's been this skinny for, it is a miracle that she is still alive, because you have toxins stored inside the fats of your body. And when you don't eat, or when you starve yourself, or when you eat and binge, etc., your body starts eating the fat and the muscle that are in your body, which releases toxins into your body, and your body can't deal with it. And then you start getting a lot of different issues like hair loss, your body starts shutting down, your organs start shutting down, your body literally starts eating itself for nutrients, your brain doesn't function properly. I mean, there's a whole host of medical concerns, like serious medical concerns that are associated with this type of severe eating disorder. But she's got all these little girls, children really, who are looking up to her. I mean, if you go on to like Social Blade or anything like that and you look at her audience, you can see that her audience are young, impressionable people. But I'm not exactly blaming Eugenia for any of this, because there are other people involved in all of this who are allowing it to continue to happen. And that is what pisses me off the most about all of it. Now, I'm not necessarily for deplatforming or anything like that, but if someone was making a YouTube video cutting themselves, like literally self-harming in a way that you cannot argue is self-harming, would YouTube allow that to continue? Because I don't think that they would. But it's the same principle. She is harming herself every single day. And she is just posting pictures and videos. And I know that she's not necessarily talking about that, but that is what she is promoting with her media. The people who are following her are consuming this media where she is harming herself on a daily basis, and no one is doing anything about it. That's the hugest problem. Like, she has family around her, she's got her mother around her at least, and they're allowing this to continue, And then you've got YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram and whatever other platforms she is on, who are allowing her to post these things when they know her target audience are like children, and she is harming herself and then posting pictures of it. Because when she's posting a picture where she's wearing next to nothing and you can see her entire skeleton, like legitimately her thigh is about the size of my forearm. It's self-harm in a very, very obvious way, and it's being allowed to just be there, be posted. And on top of that, when she is posting and when she's like making her streams and stuff, I remember this from the documentary that I watched about her. People are like are saying stuff to her like, please eat, like, I'm really concerned about you, etc., etc. And this is happening like on a regular basis. So in addition to her mental health problem of where she is severely anorexic, she also has these people saying this stuff to her like on a very regular basis, which has to have a huge impact on her mental health. So I just want to know, like, where are the people who should be protecting her? With an audience that size, she must have like a manager or something. Unless her mom is doing it, she must have some kind of agent or manager. Why are they not helping her? Is this her brand and so they're just like okay with it? Is she making so much money that her mom is so comfortable, so her mom's just like, okay, just let it continue? Because I don't know where are the people who should be helping her get help. I just don't understand. And I don't understand. There's so much of it that I don't understand, but I just think that it's so wrong to be advertising this. We're advertising eating disorders like it's a normal thing now. And it's not just this one influencer. There are many, many. But this one is the one that disturbed me so much that I felt like I really wanted to talk about it. Because anybody who is struggling with this kind of disorder or an eating disorder of any kind is going to see this and is literally being glorified. It is being glorified. And if I didn't search for her or search for anything in relation to anything that she's posting, and I am getting this media showing up like on my feeds, imagine like a young person who was searching for something in relation to this, they're going to be having it shoved down their throat on their social media. So someone who's already struggling with something like this, might see this kind of post and it's becoming normalized then. It's becoming like, oh, I don't need help. Look at her. She's been doing this for years and years and years, and it's been totally fine for her, so I can do it too. But I can tell you right now that not everybody's body would react in the same way as her body. We are all individuals. All of our bodies are different. And someone who was having this level of ED over this period of time might already be dead from it. So I'm legitimately alarmed, and I'm also legitimately concerned for this girl. I really wish that someone around her who's close to her could really get her some help, because I don't see this ending well for her at all, you know? And I'm concerned also with the fact that all of these social media platforms are allowing this, and they're not treating it like a serious illness, because it is. It's a serious illness, and it's serious self-harm. She is harming herself, and, you know, she's harming not directly, but she's harming people who are following her, who are using her as what they call thinspiration, which is a whole nother problematic topic on its own. It's just so alarming, and it really upset me, so I just wanted to make a cast about it. And I would love to know what you guys think about this. Like I said, my socials are all going to be in the description, so if you want to hit me up and let me know what you think about it, then please do. And thank you so much for listening to my little rant here today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.